Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on back into the Between the Boards podcast. The name that we currently have for now on this channel, which the name is going to be being changed soon. I do apologize ahead of time in this one. I'm just coming off a bit of a sickness. It should be coming to the end of that now. So if any point in time in this video that I need to right there have to cough or sneeze, I do apologize ahead of time for that. I took the mic off of my little thing, kind of like just like holding it like this. Feels like it's more conversational instead of like, oh, hello everybody, welcome back. No, just having a bit of a conversation with you guys, right? So I kind of like that a little bit better. But let's get on in today. For those of you who don't know, as we are changing the name of Between the Boards to a little bit something else, we're changing it to more revolved around my last name, Hall. So a lot of you gave me some ideas for that, and excuse me, sorry for that. But yeah, some of you gave me some pretty cool ideas revolving my last name for a new name for the podcast. So I think what I'm going to do is take a lot of everybody's ideas and then just add it on into one. So yeah, I think in the next couple of days we're going to be coming out with a new video, and by then we'll have a new name for the Between the Boards podcast. There is one that I really like, and I think that's probably what we'll go with unless somebody else comes up with something pretty sick. But yeah, I think that's what we're going to go with. But let's get on today's video. We'll go over the agenda for today. Don't want to spend too much time today. We'll go over a little bit of a weekend recap. We'll talk a little bit about the Leafs. We'll talk a little bit about the Jays. We'll talk a little bit about the NFL season. But yeah, it was quite the eventful weekend for me. I was up at Western University seeing my girlfriend. Great time that was. It's a cool kind of lifestyle you gotta live out there. So I still live at home, and I take the commute to Toronto every day to go to school for college sports media. Great school. Excuse me. So, but yeah, like you got guys there, or like there's gender neutral washrooms. You got people showering beside each other, shitting beside each other, pissing beside each other, making meals beside each other, and it's just kind of like a different lifestyle that you live out there. So it was kind of cool for the first 3-4 days that I was there, but I kind of like just doing being able to do my own stuff from home, and then when I'm able to afford a house or afford an apartment or whatever, be able just to have my own place, right? So I'll take living at home for now, as long as for the next couple of years. But anyway, why not start off today's video? I've had such a great time at school. The commute sucks every day, I have to catch 4 different trains each day. But why not start off today? I have a quick video I could show you. I've done some cool work with Paul Romanuk in my Friday TV kind of like announcing class. So why not show? I'll show a clip on the screen here of how that's been going, kind of like the scripts I've been reading out. So let's roll that clip.
3, 2, 1. Hello everybody, I'm Nolan Hall with your CSM TV update. Week 3 for the NFL season kicked off last night in an AFC divisional rival matchup between the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. Bills offense came out real hot in this one as Josh Allen had himself a pair of passing touchdowns, as well as James Cook rushing for a total of 108 yards with a pair of rushing touchdowns. The Bills defense came up clutch late in the fourth quarter when Bills linebacker Terrell Bernard came up with an interception on the 10-yard line to seal the deal for the Bills. The Bills improved to 3-0 on this season, defeating the Miami Dolphins 31-21. The New York Yankees stay hot with a 7-0 victory over the Baltimore Orioles last night. And how about Max Fried in this one, tossing 7 innings of work with a career-high 13 strikeouts, easily his best start of the season. With the Blue Jays loss last night, the Yankees are now 3 games back from first place in the AL East. Speaking of the Blue Jays, they will kick off a series tonight against the Kansas City Royals. And listen to this, a Blue Jays win tonight will punch their ticket to the postseason. Should be an interesting one. Max Scherzer will take the mound for the Toronto Blue Jays, and Michael Lorenzen will take the mound for the Royals. I'm Nolan Hall with your CSM TV update.
So yeah, it's been pretty cool. I've loved that class. Probably my favorite class of the week. Got to wear a nice little suit and kind of just practice. And you kind of got after the first class, and the first class I did that. Excuse me, and then the most recent, there's definitely a huge improvement that I've saw for myself. Gain a lot more confidence, and the more you do it, the more reps, the better you get at it. I definitely think this podcast stuff has been a huge thing for me for doing all that stuff. I've got a lot better at all that stuff. So, and then I was actually thinking about this today. I go back when I was a young kid, from ages like 4 until probably around age 13. I was the worst with anxiety. I had to go with classes and take like classes of stuff to make me like touch shit, see if I liked it, and I had a hard time like kind of like talking to some people, and I was kind of a nervous kid. But now I'm sitting here doing my own podcast. I talk in front of people every single day. I talk for a living. and that's something I want to do for a living, get paid for it. So, and talk about sports, best thing ever. So, definitely super happy that I'm able to do that and overcome that fear. But anyways, let's get into the hockey. For those of you who are worried that we're not going to be talking as much about hockey around here, we definitely are. 70% of this podcast is going to be strictly on talking about hockey. And in October, so in the next 2 weeks, the NHL season kicks off, and we're going to be diving in onto that. For those of you who have been long-time listeners of this podcast, the World Juniors is by far my favorite tournament. And if you watch the Four Nations Cup, I was in. It was such an amazing experience, that tournament. My apologies. So yeah, that was hockey's still going to be a big thing around here. Shout out to the Spitting Chicklets, Pink Whitney. That was kind of like the podcast that really got me into all this stuff. So definitely shout out to them. Shout out to Jeff Merrick. He also got me into all that stuff. He's been a huge help. And all the teachers at school. But anyway, let's get into hockey. The Leafs kick off their preseason opener against the Ottawa Senators on Saturday night. It was in Ottawa. Not a lot of our big guys in the lineup tonight. We didn't have Matthews, Nylander, Tavares, Riley, so-and-so, our big guys. The three big names that most of you would know in this game, we had Easton Cowan, Nick Robertson, and Calle Jarnkrok. So those three all had really good games actually in this game. They're the ones that stood out the most, especially Nick Robertson. What a game that he had. And they put, so I guess because it's just preseason, and I guess it depends on the guys playing the game. Robertson was wearing an A in this one, like assistant captain. And I think like maybe him having like a bigger role, or him maybe playing first line minutes and power play minutes, gives him some more confidence and makes him a more high level player, because that's one of the best Nick Robertson games I've watched in a while. I thought he played a good 120-foot game, moved the puck very well. As long as Easton Cowan, he's a guy who's fighting for a starting lineup spot in this Leafs team. Is he going to probably make the starting roster? Probably not, Easton Cowan. I think Robertson will. But when it comes to Jarnkrok, I think it's kind of a bit of a coincidence that they put Jarnkrok, Cowan, Robertson, all three of them in playing, and then not a lot of the other big guys, because I really, sorry, I think for the three of them, it's coming down to those three on who's going to make the Leafs starting lineup on October 5th, I believe it is. So it's one of those three that are going to be on the Leafs starting lineup. October 7th. And I think that's maybe kind of why they put those three there. Obviously, we still have like 5 or 6 preseason games to go, and that's going to determine on who's going to get that final spot. I think as of right now, it's Jarnkrok and Robertson, but one of them is probably not going to be able to, 2 of them out of the 3 are probably not going to make that starting lineup. And I think right now it's probably going to be Robertson. For those of you who don't know, they avoided arbitration with him. He signed a $1.75 million salary average contract in the offseason, so he's back for this year. A lot of people thought that he was going to be a guy that the Leafs were going to dish, but he's back. Obviously, he was a healthy scratch in the playoffs after the second game against Ottawa in the first round last year. So we'll see where things go with Robertson this year. I like to see him, if they can at any point, put Robertson on a first and second line. Fuck it. They've never done it before, but I think if you put him on that line, I think he's going to score a ton more goals. I think he's going to get a lot more confidence, and he's going to play a lot better hockey. So that's what I would do. Try it for 1 or 2, 3 games. I don't give it. Don't do it for a lot of games. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Let him go back to that third, fourth line spot. Try it. See how it goes. Because we've yet to do it, and how are you going to know what he's going to be like on that top line? I feel like him and Matthews could somewhat work well together. We've never really seen them work together, but like fuck it, let's just try it. Even in preseason, try it. I think just let Robertson play in those high moments, in those big moments on those top lines. Even maybe on that. I don't think he's not going to be on that first power play unit. There has been talks actually now that Mitch Marner's not on the Leafs, and he's not on that first power play unit. Morgan Rielly's going to be back on the power play. He's going to be the quarterback of the power play. That's what they've been doing so far in training camp, which would consist of power play being Morgan Rielly, Austin Matthews, William Nylander, John Tavares, and Matthew Nice. So still a solid power play, just no Marner. Couple other plays. Why not talk a little bit about Matthew Schaefer? Let's roll a clip real quick on the screen of his back check. Drafted first overall by the New York Islanders. This kid's going to be a terrific player. I think between him and Ivan Demidov of the Montreal Canadiens, it's going to be one of these guys that's probably going to win the Calder Trophy this year, which is the Rookie of the Year trophy, for those of you who don't know. Schaefer, such a great story around this kid. Played for Canada in the World Juniors, broke his collarbone in the World Juniors, and missed probably 80% of his season last year, and was still able to go first overall from the Islanders. He also has a crazy backstory. Unfortunately, his mother passed away from cancer around 2 years ago. So his mother was a huge part of his life, and every time he goes and steps on the ice or does anything, he does it for his mom. And if you watch any type of interviews of the kid too, and I call him a kid, but he's really my age. Excuse me. He's such a nice, polite kid, and he's so good in the interviews. He's been on the Chicklets podcast before, just ripping on biz. But he's such a nice, calm, cool, and collected kid, and he's gonna go so far in the NHL. And the Islanders actually did such a good job of drafting this year. They also picked up Kayshawn Aitchison, another defenseman from the Erie Otters, and Eklund, who was a guy who was supposed to go like probably top 10 in this year's draft, and ended up falling all the way down to like I believe it was 18, where the Islanders snagged him, and they made a trade for him actually. So yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to watching the Islanders this year, as well as the Utah Hockey Club that made a lot of big moves. I can't think of a lot of them off the top of my head. I know they signed that Florida defenseman Nate Schmidt, who's actually a really underrated defenseman in my opinion. There's a bunch of other guys too. I'm just not really thinking off the top of my head. So I'm really looking forward to watching Utah this year, as well as the San Jose Sharks. I'm expecting a really big year from Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith. I really like those two together. They're like brothers. Macklin's from Canada, Smith's from the States. They both played each other in that 2023 World Junior Championship. Sorry, 2024. Both of them excellent players. Looking forward to watch them together, as well as Tyler Toffoli, who might be a captain this year, and also their newest acquirement, who they drafted, Michael Misa. A lot of you, we've talked about him a lot on this podcast. Went second overall to the Sharks. He's gonna be great. Lit it up in the OHL with Saginaw, and they also have defensemen who I believe should break the starting lineup for the Sharks this year. Sam Dickinson, who played for the London Knights, won a Memorial Cup with Easton Cowan last year. He played for Canada in the World Juniors. He's gonna be a great addition. Looking forward to see what he can do. And yeah, that's all we got kind of for hockey. Leafs and Ottawa will take on tomorrow night. I believe Stolars is the net for the Leafs. And we'll see if our big guys are playing. And I'm really hoping they do, because I like to see Cowan and Robertson play again tomorrow night with the big guys. Hopefully Ottawa brings out their big boys too, so we could see how Cowan looks with the big guys out there. Excuse me. And yeah, honestly, man, getting back into this podcast, if we're going to get into MLB in a second. It's been such a cool experience. Hopefully this video is going to be edited a little bit better than usual. But even in the next couple weeks, it's going to be even better edited, because I'm going to bring these videos, film them here, bring them to my school, and edit it from there, because they have this sick little setup you could do, add in sound and quality. It's fucking unbelievable. So I'm really looking forward to that. So let's get into the MLB. Obviously we haven't spent a lot of time on this podcast talking about Major League Baseball. But let's talk about the Jays, because I'm a big Jays guy. I'm sitting here wearing a fucking Yankee hat, and I hate the Yankees. It's just like a style thing. So, anyways, Yankees are 2 games behind the Jays in the ALDS race. Jays basically need to win 7 games to clinch the ALDS spot. So for those of you who don't know, 6 teams in the American League make it, and 6 teams in the National League make it. You got 3 wild card spots, and then you got 3 2 spots. So the top 2 teams as of right now is the Blue Jays and the Seattle Mariners, I believe. They have ALDS spots. Below is the Houston Detroit Tigers. And then in the 3 wildcard spots, you got the Yankees in the first wildcard spot, you got the Red Sox in the second wildcard spot, and you got the Houston Astros in the third wildcard spot. So for example, Leafs, Jays and Mariners, they got ALDS buys, and then Detroit, who's in the third wildcard spot, they would play the third wild card seed, and then the first wild card seed and the second wild card seed would face off in a best 3 series. So yeah, basically the Jays are going to play. They got a 3-game series coming up against the Boston Red Sox at home. We're at home for the rest of the season, and I am very happy about that, because the Jays are like one of the best regular season teams at home this year. So I'm really looking forward that we're going to be able to be at home for the rest of the season. 3 games against the Red Sox and 4 games against the Rays, so 7 games left. No, I believe it's more than that. I apologize. There's definitely a bit more. But the Rays give us a tough time, so I am worried about that. But and Bo Bichette's out for the rest of the regular season. And in my opinion, you could say, "Oh, Vladdy's better." Bo Bichette's the best player on the Blue Jays. He is. Stats will prove it. He has better hitting stats than Vladdy. And if you were to ask me, let's say this: Nolan, Jays are going into the playoffs. You either get Bo Bichette or you get Vladimir Guerrero Jr. You got you got to give one. I'm taking Bo Bichette any day of the week, any day. Such a better hitter. Vladdy's better defensively, but I don't give a shit about those stats. Bichette is one of the best hitters in baseball. If you want to get like hitting lessons from a player, like maybe I know Bichette's not smashing like 30, 40 homers like Vladdy could, but Bichette's getting like 100 or close to 200 hits a season. So by far the best player. No, I shouldn't say by far. He's the best player in the Jays, and if there's anyone I want in that lineup, it's Bo Bichette. And hopefully when playoffs comes around, he's healthy and he's kind of refreshed and ready to go. But I did make here, on this little piece of paper here, my prediction for what the Blue Jays starting game one of the playoffs. This is what the lineup I think should be. So let's just get into it. If you don't agree with me, give me a text. Maybe say, hey, I'd maybe change this. So just let me know. For those baseball fans, shout out to the grandparents. I know the grandparents are the big baseball ones. But so hitting first, I got George Springer at my DH spot. What a fantastic season George Springer has had. Guy's been such a wagon for the Jays this year. 2 horrible seasons last year. Sorry, in the year before that, but Springer's probably going to be the comeback player of the year this year. Guy's almost had 30 bombs, almost 100 RBIs, batting like just over 300. What a year he's had. Second, I have Bo Bichette. He's spent a lot of time in the 4 spot, but I really believe if you put Springer, who's usually going to get that leadoff base hit, and Bichette, who gets a hit every a ton too, even like 3 or 4 times a game, why not put him in that 2 spot? Put Vladdy in the 3 spot. I like Vladdy in the 3 spot. I don't like him anywhere else. So Anthony Santander is going to be back soon. And I know at the start of the season he's been shit, batting like under 190, not hitting a lot of homers. And if you know Anthony Santander with the Baltimore Orioles, the guy smashed homers. So I'm hoping we're going to get that Anthony Santander back, super healthy. Stick him in the 4 spot, put him in right field. We'll see where he goes from there. 5, I got Kirk. Kirk could really go 5 or 6, even 7 with the guys who I have 6 and 7 in this lineup. So we'll see where that goes there. In 6 spot I have Barger at third base. I couldn't put him in the outfield just because you got Santander in the outfield. Varsho I have hitting 7th at center field. 8, I have Nathan Lucas in left field, and 9 I have Andres Jimenez at second base. I hate not putting Ernie Clement in this lineup because he's probably like one of my favorite players on the Jays, and I think that he really deserves to be in that playoffs. Be on that playoff spot. And he won the Hustle and Heart Award. I think he will play at some point, or he'll pitch hit or get in. I just don't think he's breaking that start. Depends on who's pitching. If you got a lefty on the mound, he'll probably get in there. If you got a righty, they'll probably go with Lucas. But then our bench, we got Ty France. He's gonna get in there when you got a lefty on the mound. Clement's gonna get in there a lot. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa might have him in there to pitch run, play some good defense. Davis Schneider, we'll definitely see his time in there. He's been super hot as of lately. And then Tyler Heineman won't play a lot because Alejandro Kirk's that everyday catcher, and you kind of need that guy in there for your, especially in playoffs. So he'll see it every so often. But I'm excited for playoffs to roll around, especially for the Jays. I'm confident in this team this year. It's been so long since we've won a playoff game. And I just want us to win a game, man. We haven't won a playoff game since 2016. So I like this team. This is the earliest the Jays have actually. I might be wrong with this, but I thought I saw something. This was like the earliest we've ever clinched a playoff spot, or maybe that's within the last like decade or so. But I might be wrong. But let me try and find that post. But yeah, we'll see where that takes us. Yankees are playing the White Sox, and they got the Orioles. Pretty easy schedule for them. That's why I'm a little bit worried. But we'll see where time takes us. The Jays just got to keep on playing some good ball. Talk a little bit about the NFL. NFL's been great this year. I've been doing parlays and betting because now I'm 18 years old, so I can. And I've made $50 in the last 2 weeks over NFL on just picking 6 teams to win each week. So that's been pretty sick, going in and cashing my tickets at the gas station. That's been great. my team's the Bills. I like the Bills. And Josh Allen is by far the best quarterback in the league. The stuff that guy does on the field, he's got James Cook, who's one of the most underrated running backs in the league. And and he doesn't have a lot of great receivers. For his tight ends, he's got Dalton Kincaid, great tight end. Dawson Knox, kind of getting old. And for his wide receivers, he's got Keon Coleman, who's having a bit of a down year so far, and Shakir, who hasn't done too much as well, and you got Gabe Davis as well. But that just proves that even though you don't got the greatest receivers, but Josh Allen's able to make it work. Because you look at Lamar Jackson, he's got the best running back in the league, really, with Derrick Henry. You got Zay Flowers. They got DeAndre Hopkins. They got a bunch of good guys on that team, and then it just proves that even if you don't got a ton of great guys, receivers around Josh Allen, he's still able to make it work, and he's the best quarterback in the league. And I personally think, looking at the Bills' schedule this year, the next 5 or 6 games, I think they win all of them. I think the Bills go 15-2 this year. You play 17 games. I think they win 15 games this year. I'm super confident in this Bills team this year. And let's talk about the team that always knocks out the Bills in the playoffs, the Kansas City Chiefs, who are off to a very rough start this year. They're sitting at 1-2 right now. Obviously, it's super early in the season, only 3 games, but they lose the first 2 games of the week to the Chargers and Eagles. They win last night, finally, against the New York Giants, and I wasn't really impressed by this team. Obviously, Mahomes is dominant. I don't have any problems with Mahomes. I think he's still going to be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, but the running backs, let's talk about that. Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. Nothing special from these guys. The max they've both rushed for is 40 yards in a game. For their Travis Kelsey, he's getting old. Not a lot out of him. And the biggest problem for the Chiefs really right now is the wide receivers. They have Hollywood Brown, who is kind of can't do too much right now. He hasn't been too great. Xavier Worth, he gets hurt on the very first play of the year for the Chiefs, running into Travis Kelsey. He's out. We don't know how much longer he's out for. And then Rashee Rice, who's one of their best wide receivers, decided to drive 220 miles per hour on the freeway, smash into a bunch of cars, and now he's suspended for another couple weeks. So I'm not super confident in this Chiefs lineup, especially for the next couple weeks. And trust me, I root against the Chiefs anytime I can. But I do definitely think this might be the year the Bills get over it. And then I actually think the Chiefs are going to be a wild card team. If not, they might not even make the playoffs this year the way things are going. So we'll see when they get a healthier team and the guys get back from their suspensions and injuries, things might be able to turn around. Excuse me, but what a disappointing start it's been for the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. But man, football's been great. I've been love watching the first couple weeks here. And I will let you guys know before we wrap up today's video. We're at the 21-minute mark. I have filmed a couple podcasts at the school, and I think it's just a matter of being able to get it over to my phone and being able to edit so I can upload them. I did a couple with my buddy Owen Santos, great guy, great hockey guy, knows a lot about the Edmonton Oilers. So he'll definitely be on this podcast a lot. But as soon as I can get it figured out from an editing and moving things over transport or kind of way, I'm going to be able to get these videos up. We're going to have a lot more podcasts rolling with a lot of special guests, and there is a special guest who I'm going to reach out to in a couple days to see if I can get him on here. I'm not going to leak the name, but might be an OHL player soon. We're going to try and get him on here, see if I can give him a shout. And I think he's such a great kid. We're see if we can get him on here. So anyways, we're at the 22-minute mark. I'm happy with today's episode. We're going to be back on here in a couple days. We'll talk a little bit about the Leafs game. Hopefully, we got our big guys playing tomorrow. See how Easton Cowan does. I'm looking forward to that. Monday Night Football tonight. We have the Lions and Ravens. That game's still underway. Hopefully, my parlay hits. Say Flowers, please just catch the ball a couple more times for me. But yeah, we're going to be back on here in a couple days. I thank you guys all so much for tuning on in. I appreciate you guys giving me some trying to help find a new name for this show, but I appreciate it all so much. So we'll be back here in a couple days. I hope everybody has an eventful week. Hope you have a great week, and we'll be back here soon. Have yourselves a good night. Later.